Hey, this is Mr. Willis. Here's how you do basic shapes in Photoshop. So the tool that I'm going to look for, lots of tools over here, is going to be the one that is a blue shape. It's usually towards the bottom. Now be careful. Right now mine looks like a rectangle because that's the last shape tool that I used. But sometimes if you've used a different one, you might see an ellipse here or one of the other ones that are in this list. To see everything that's in this list, these are all possible shapes, all I have to do is kind of click and hold for a second on this button and it will pop out all of these different options. So let me go ahead and start with just a rectangle tool. Once you've chosen the tool, you have some options here before you go to draw it. If you want, right now it's set as unconstrained. That means that when I draw my rectangle, I could make it very wide but short, or I could make a very tall, skinny one. It's very much up to me. If I change the settings here, I could set this to say, you know what, I want it to be a perfect square. That way, no matter how big I make it, it's always going to be a perfect square. So that's useful depending on the type of rectangle that you might want. Let me go ahead and undo a couple of these just so I have some room to work with again. Other shapes have something similar. So if I were to switch over to the ellipse tool, you'll see I could have an unconstrained ellipse, which is something kind of like this. It could be, very, very circular, or it could be much more squished. And if I set the one that says circle, that means it's going to set it as a perfectly round circle, no matter how big I make it. All right, let's go ahead and undo those real quick just so I have some more room again. Another one that is kind of unique is if you go to, say, the Polygon tool, I can actually set the number of sides. So right now it's set as a hexagon. If I were to change that to 8, it's now going to be more of an octagon. And there you go, it's kind of like a stop sign. Okay. Anytime I've drawn a shape, there's some other tools up here I can use. One, of course, is the color. I can make the shape be whatever color that I want it to be. And another one that you might want to try out is this style one. You'll see how it puts some things like some little beveling or edge effects around the edge of your shape, depending on if that is something you want. Or you can, if you're not liking any of them, you can just say simplify, and that's going to, oops, that is not what I wanted to do. You can just take it back to basically, just more of a basic one. Okay. Finally, one thing I feel like I should point out anytime we're working with shapes is if you have your pointer tool up here, like we've used with other things, this works very well with the shapes too. So anytime I'm drawing a shape, I can easily switch to this pointer tool, move it, resize it, that sort of thing. Okay, as I've shown in another video, whenever you resize something, it's going to ask, do you want to keep this or cancel it? And in this case, I'll say, yeah, let's keep it as it is right there. All right. Always remember, as I've been doing here, if you ever do something you really don't like, just hit the undo button, and you can actually back up in history a ways. I can even go all the way back to my original red one here and leave it at that. But those are some basic shapes. Feel free to explore some of the other options that you have here, even if I don't go into all of them in this video.